And I do just want to say that looks saucy though. That is fire right there. What the heck is up, you guys? It's your boy Ace, aka Animated Heroes, here back with another action figure review. And as you guys can see today, we're going to be taking a look at the Mezco 112 Collective Supreme Knight Batman. And man, have I been waiting on this figure. It was definitely worth the wait. I know I'm late to the game, but if you keep up with my Instagram, then you know I had a ton of stuff I needed to get out this week. And since I was late, I decided to save him for one of my last reviews. But that being said, this guy is everything that I wanted him to be and more. This is one Mezco really knocked it out of the park with. So let's go ahead and take a look at those details and then we'll dive into the figure itself. Now, in terms of making a much older Batman who you can tell at this point is just kicking teeth in Gotham City to try and make a point, I've got to give it to Mezco. They really knocked it out of the park. I love how certain parts of this costume look like they're very tactical and armored, but at the same time, you still have these pieces of cloth in the costume that show he can still be very mobile and agile at the same time. So it's a combination of both. Like, you can tell with these fists, he can give some really hard hits, but of course with the cloth, he's still able to move and function the way that he wants to. Even though, of course, this is him when he's older, he still is probably in not the best of shape, but a whole lot better shape than most of the enemies he's fighting, especially if it's the same one he's been dealing with for all the past years, like Penguin and Riddler, Two-Face, you name it. But I love what they did with this helmet. The sculpt work on it is nice. I didn't used to be a fan of the small bat ears, but since Batfleck, they've really grown on me, as well as this logo. Now, I love how everything on him black is like a matte color or a matte finish, but then you have this that's kind of metallic. It sticks out, and then you've got all these battle scars and everything on it. You've got all the sculpt work on the belt and the gauntlets all the way down to the feet. Now, the boots kind of throw me off a bit because I've never seen Batman wear anything like this. It kind of looks like his armored stuff, but at the same time, once again, he's trying to make a point that he is knocking out villains in Gotham for real this time around. Of course, on the back of the belt, you do have this little holster right here for his grapple gun. So this Batman figure really has a lot going on, and I could honestly say there's a chance this might become my favorite figure for them. This is nice. I am enjoying the look of this, and I can't wait to start posing him around. But let's go ahead and put this figure back, take a look and see how tall he stands, and then of course we will get into the articulation. Now, to the top of his head, he does stand right at 6.5 inches, as you guys can see, so pretty tall, as most Mezco figures are. Of course, he's still going to fit in scale with most of your 6-inch figures. Some of them not so much, like SH Figure Arts, but as long as you pose them right, I still think that it'll look good. Articulation wise, he looks up about that much. I'm trying to see if I can do any more. Nope, only about that much. He looks down that much, so you can't get him looking down. Of course, you do get tilt, and all of that comes from a ball peg that is on the head. And then, in case you guys didn't know, this is metal, and so this is for when you put the cape on, which I'll show in just a sec. But that really like clamps on there, as you guys can see. So, and I'm pretty sure you guys can hear it. So that sticks, and that works very well, but I'll talk about that later. His arms go up and out about that much, really good. You can bring him all the way up for a full uppercut. He does have bicep swivel. He does have, it feels like a single joint, but at the same time, he's so muscular, like it wouldn't even matter. You can't bring it any further back because the gauntlet's going to hit right there anyway. The hands are on a hinge, and you can move them pretty much however you want to. It feels like there's a slight butterfly joint in there, but I don't think you'll get much out of it. As far as crunching forward, I have no idea what's going on under here. He crunches forward only about that much, not much at all. And he crunches back a little bit better, or leans back a little better, but I don't know, like the fabric on this, I don't want to rip it, so I'm not going to push it anymore. But yeah, you do get that out of him. Of course, he can turn. But then you get these wrinkles in the clothing, and I don't want those to stick. So don't leave it posed like that for too long. His foot kicks forward that much very well. He can boot the crap out of somebody. Doesn't kick back much, but that's fine. He can do the splits about this much, and it still doesn't feel like I'm going to rip anything. So that is awesome. Love that they did that. Hate this crotch piece, but that's another story. He does have a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, as you guys can see. Foot goes down about that much. Actually, let's check one more thing. No, so he doesn't have anything at the boot right here. It turns just a little bit, but it's not like I'm going to consider that a swivel. But yeah, foot goes down about that much, up that much. Not really any ankle rocker, and that is a killing blow right there. But I don't know, Mezco doesn't seem to want to add that for whatever reason. Now when it comes to accessories, Mezco usually knocks it out of the park, or they will just fail completely. Thankfully, this time they did a good job, because this guy comes with quite a bit, and I'm very satisfied. First off, you get his default face, and I could totally see Batman staring down an enemy in an alleyway with this expression. You get a pair of fist hands. You get a pair of stylish open palm hands, and these are for more dynamic poses. You get a pair of gripping hands. You get a pair of, this one's kind of like a trigger hand, the right one, and then you have the left one, which is for holding underneath the barrel, which is for a weapon I'm going to show you guys in just a sec. Then you get two more gripping type hands, which are just regular gripping hands, and you get a trigger hand. So I believe this is either for the next weapon or for his grapple gun. We'll find out in just a sec. You do get this bat claw, or whatever this is. I flipped out when I first pulled this out of the package because I thought I broke it. You can flip this, but it just feels so fragile. So if you do play with this, be careful, because right at the midsection right there, I feel like this thing could just snap. It feels so fragile. You get this dope like batarang. I don't know if this one's any different, but it looks like one of the Sonic batarangs that he uses from the Arkham series. I dig this. I would not want to get hit with that. Now he does come with his Overwatch Reaper gun, or as they call it, the Equalizer cannon. This thing looks so dope. I don't know where he would carry this at all, but I love the sculpt work on this. I love the grays, the blacks, and the gold especially right around the barrel. That just looks so damn sick. I love that. Now, of course, he does come with a grapple gun, just like every Batman. I already have the grapple attached in here, and it just, of course, plugs in there. And you do get 3 of these. You get that one that I just showed you guys. You get this one where it's open, getting ready to grapple onto something, and then you get this one I will never use that comes with a string, and so you could actually hook him onto something, and so that's cool. As far as facial expressions, you do have this teeth gritted face, which this is a miss for me. It looks better than some of the other ones they've done, but at the same time, there's just something just not right. I don't know what it is. That just doesn't look, it doesn't look bad. I could still use it, but just something looks off about it. Anyway, you do get the older Bruce Wayne head, which you can tell is just the same one they've given us multiple times. I really wish they would have put a little bit more detail in it, made him look a little bit older. He only looks like he's about 40, 50 at the most, which I heard this is supposed to be Batman between the ages of 60 and 70. He doesn't look that age, so yeah, I wish they just would have sculpted a bit more wrinkles or whatever, made it look a little bit better, because this is pretty much just the same head we've gotten before. Now, in terms of batarangs, we do have these gold batarangs that he now uses. I don't know what made him switch to gold. They're really small and like kind of, I don't know, I guess they match the emblem on his chest. They do look really good though. I like them. And then lastly, you get like a batarang cluster. You get 3 of these all together, and they don't come apart, so he could just hold them like that. So great amount of accessories, and if you thought that was good, we're still not done. Now, unless it's Batman Beyond, obviously it wouldn't be Batman if he didn't have his cape. And man, I love the fact that they gave you the option for what kind of cape that you want, because I know some people who do like for the cape to just flow, Personally, I take a lot of action shots. I don't care for that at all. But I did want to show this one off first because this is what everyone is used to with Mezco. They give us these capes for every Batman figure, even though we beg for them to give us wired. And it's the same thing. Pretty much it's attached right underneath the cowl, and then you can move it however you want. Once again, it's tucked in under here right around that metal, and that head does very good staying on. I just lifted it by it and you didn't see it fall off at all. So if you do want to pose Batman like this, of course you can do so, having the cape fully cover him. But if you like taking action photos like myself, then you're really going to enjoy this. They say there's a first time for everything, and Mezco actually proved that. For the first time ever, they have given us a wired cape. And I couldn't be more satisfied because now I can do whatever I want to do with my Batman figure without having to spend 20-30 bucks on an extra cape that should come with the figure in the first place. This stuff like this is what really knocks my socks off when it comes to buying figures. When they go over the top to give you extra for what you pay for, or not even extra really, just make it more valuable to you. This alone makes me feel like this Batman should be in anyone's collection, especially if you're a fan of the character, just because of the fact that they included this and gave you the option to do whatever you want. And as you guys can see, the wire is strong as well, so it does hold up. And I believe there's 1, 2, 3, I'm counting them on the camera so you guys can see, 4, 5 wires in there, and it just works. You can make it sit flush if you want to, or of course you can have it blowing in the wind, and that's all I need. That's perfection for me when it comes to a Batman figure. Now I can really do what I want whenever I'm posing this guy around. So if you're someone like me and the moment you saw this figure, the first thing you were thinking about was changing out the head sculpt because you don't always want to pose an older Batman, here's what the Supreme Knight looks like with the Sovereign Knight head sculpt on it. And I think that looks phenomenal. But then you got this right here that just does not work. And what's really throwing me off is I thought these were the same buck. Maybe it's because of the boots, but I can't believe that this guy is this much shorter than this guy. I was actually going to show this in the size comparisons, but I wanted to show you guys these head swaps side by side. So now you can see this guy is towering over this guy. But once again, armored boots, so that could be the case. Anyway, that's what these look like swapped. So let's go ahead and take a look at the size comparisons. For some size comparisons, here he is standing next to a couple of other Mezco figures. We have the Mezco exclusive Catwoman, the Crown Prince of Crime Joker, and the Commissioner Gordon. As you can see, Joker actually stands taller than him, which is a little weird to me. I figured that this figure would be much bigger than Joker, but I guess not. Next up, here he is standing next to a Mattel Alfred, the Marvel Legends Rider Series Punisher, and a Mattel Batman Beyond. And I have no idea what Mattel was thinking when they scaled this Alfred because he is way too tall. Lastly, here he is standing next to a Storm Collectibles Bane and the Kyoto Revoltech Deathstroke. And as you can see, he fits in scale with both of these guys, even though you can't technically see the top half of Bane on screen. They'll look good together. Take my word for it. As I always say, I have to give credit when credit is due. Mezco knocked it out of the park with this figure. And I can honestly say this is more than likely my favorite Batman. Now by them, of course. My favorite Batman is the Mafex Hush. But released by Mezco, this is my favorite Batman. This beats the Ascending Knight. This beats the Sovereign Knight, this beats the Onyx, all of those. This beats everything that they have released because of everything that they did different. It's not necessarily the sculpt work or just the overall design. It's the fact that everything works. And I don't feel like this figure is as fragile as those. It feels like I can pose this and I don't have to worry about everything ripping. I love the accessories that he comes with. Granted, most of the Batman do come with quite a few accessories, but he comes with Reaper from Overwatch's gun. Come on now. The Equalizer cannon. That's fire. I love these batarangs they gave him. A wired cape. What more can you ask for? Seriously, that right there is enough reason to purchase this, if nothing else. They knocked it out of the park with this. I really have nothing to complain about. If they would have gave this figure ankle pivot, I would love it. I can say this might possibly be my second favorite Batman. I gotta do some digging through my collection. I got a ton of Batman figures, but this guy's up there for sure. He's definitely top 5. That I know for a fact. This guy's just fun. Thankfully, he's a regular release. So that means right now you guys will be able to get your hands on him. If you haven't made up your mind by now with all the reviews there are out there, then this figure is just not for you. But if you're even contemplating picking up this figure, do it. Because, hey, you might be able to sell it for who knows how much in the future. We all know what happens with Mezco figures, but this guy's just absolutely amazing. I love this figure so damn much. So much more than I thought I was going to. And kudos to Mezco for this release, because this is a solid, not a 10 out of 10, but it's a 9 out of 10 for me. And overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, because that always helps me out. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new content. And lastly, follow me on everything you see listed in the description below to keep up with my activity outside of YouTube. I'm Animated Heroes, and I am out. Peace. Go get this figure.